Oh, Evitel, there you are. I've been looking everywhere for you. Do you know we had to cancel last week's episode? What have you done to the game? It looks horrible.
Sorry, Tally. I've been really distracted playing so much Classic.
Oh, wait, this is Classic?
Yeah!
Oh, wow, it looks amazing. I love Classic. Wait a minute, this isn't Classic.
What do you mean? Of course it is. It just took me 25 minutes to kill an elite, and the sense of accomplishment I feel is incredible.
Now, there's something that just doesn't feel right about it.
Lol, you noob. You probably think it's wrong just because there are no quest markers on the minimap or no LFR or whatever.
No, it's not that. It's the UI. The UI isn't right.
Of course it is.
No, hang on. What we should really do is make the minimap bigger and put it in the middle here so we can see all of our teammates in raid properly.
Okay.
Have you got a threat meter up?
No.
Okay, you're going to need a threat meter and a list of like raid buffs and stuff so you can keep on top of them. Actually, make that nice and big just to be safe. You're going to want a more obvious and cool looking health and resource display. And look, you haven't even got any raid frames up. There. You're going to need a debuff tracker. Make your chat bigger just so you can see what's going on. Healing and DPS meters, obviously. And you should probably just leave your bags open as well, to be honest, just in case you need something really quick. Oh, shit, I almost forgot.
Is that Chuck Norris?
Yeah. Chuck Norris is cool. Right, yeah. That's Classic. I think you are just about ready to raid.
Cool.
Did you get all your attunements?
What's an attunement?
Knowledge is power.
Hello Internet, Taliesin here, and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Reset. Taliesin and Evitel's Wondrous Wisdomshow, where we're going to talk all things World of Warcraft. That means Classic, that means 8.2, the Rise of Azshara, that means everything else in between. And this week, Internet, I also have some important philosophical questions to ask as we look at the impact Classic is having on players' perceptions and enthusiasm of future live content in BfA and beyond. So, you know, plenty to look forward to there. But one thing we're not going to talk about today is that Kotaku article that surfaced this week claiming that a major StarCraft-themed first-person shooter game that had been in development for 2 years has been cancelled by Blizzard, and the developers moved to bolster the teams on Diablo 4, which everyone has known about for ages, and Overwatch 2, which made people go, huh. But whatever, man, that's 3 franchises that we don't tend to cover on this decidedly Warcraft-centric channel, and let's be honest, a StarCraft shooting game getting cancelled is about as surprising as a Blizzard merchandising video getting downvoted. Cancelling StarCraft games is basically what Blizzard employees tend to do to let off a bit of steam. An average day in the life of Blizzard is like arrive in the morning, tell Halinka he's looking swole, get a coffee, cancel a StarCraft game, get on with your day's work, you know? But I find that we do have to at least mention it, because otherwise people go, oh, you didn't mention it, so now we've mentioned it. Good, and allow us to start properly now with Tentacle Watch. Yes, you'll remember that last episode we were all getting especially excited about the gift of N'Zoth, the beautiful big disgusting hat eye that all the cool kids decided to keep wearing as a proper welcome to our tentacle overlords in 8.2, and which 99% of the player base didn't keep because apparently a decent transmog is more important than receiving soul-bending old god whispers directly into your brain, which is a decision I will never understand, but it's a decision a lot of people made. Fine, whatever. But it looked like us loyal servants of unattractive flesh helms had finally gotten our reward when we logged in to find incessant, intrusive mutterings that were literally non-stop. We thought there was also an increase in NPCs cropping up who were also sporting the gift, and speculation was rife that this could be the start of something that would build and become more outrageous and less tolerable leading into the new patch, which must totally be pretty close at hand now, because seriously though, the whispers though, that was 2 weeks ago, and since then we haven't noticed any new NPC converts to the tentacly cause, and far from building into a maddening crescendo of Lovecraftian madness and horror, the whispers have actually died down, only making themselves known at all when you log in or port somewhere, or when you enter numerous specific parts of the map, these trigger points quite often coinciding with views of water or Naga encampments. Disappointing. Much more disappointing though is the fact that at the time of recording we have heard absolutely nothing about the release of 8.2. Sure, more and more detailed info hits the PTR every build, and we'll be looking at all of that this episode, yes. And yes, the PTR has at least started to look a lot more ready than a couple of weeks ago. We've even got in-game cutscenes added for the opening Nazjatar scenario now. And they're those cool ones where you see your own character in as well. I like those ones. I like my character. Blizzard have already talked about Season 3 starting 2 weeks after the new patch goes live, which is good news because A, they're even thinking about when the patch goes live, but also because it means that Ian probably wasn't lying to my face when he told me that the Eternal Palace raid will be launching a couple of weeks after the patch. It also means, incidentally, that Crucible of Storms is probably going to end up as one of the rarest cutting-edge achievements in the game. Right now, an absolutely minuscule amount of guilds have completed this 2-boss raid on Mythic, including just 11 Alliance guilds. Not even our guild has done it, and we, don't forget, are officially the best guild in the world, with a name a bit like Immortalis. So yeah, all of this is promising, but it doesn't detract from the fact that we still don't have a release date, and this is a problem because 8.15 gaily sailed past the 77-day mark 2 weeks ago now. That magical number that Legion stuck to religiously for nearly all of its patches, and yeah, it turns out there was a good reason for that, because it really is the upper limit for how long players seem willing to wait for new content, especially if it's new content that they hope is going to fundamentally improve parts of the core game that they are unsatisfied with, which, like it or not, is the gargantuan cross that 8.2 has to bear. I'm now at the stage where I'm willing to say that yes, Rise of Azshara has taken too long to arrive. I'm at the stage where I'm willing to say that yes, we are in a content drought right now, people. Battle for Dazara Lore is one of the all-time great raids in my opinion, but it's become very clear this expansion how the lack of tier sets has really affected the replayability of these instances, no matter how entertaining they are. We just don't go back and farm this. I enjoy getting my plus 10 every week, but honestly, I don't really have any goals in the game right now. And that's not truly terrible in itself. A patch being a couple of weeks to a month later than most of us would like usually wouldn't be a disaster. It's kind of par for the course, but this isn't a normal time for World of Warcraft, in part because of the near unprecedented criticism and vitriol that BfA has received, but more importantly because for the first time ever, BfA isn't the only WoW game in town right now. There's also Classic to think about, and the WoW community really are thinking about it, almost to the exclusion of anything else. The near rabid hype and Twitch numbers that accompanied the launch of the Classic Beta a couple of weeks ago has died down a bit, but it still dominates WoW content on all platforms, being given another bump this week with the level cap raising to 40. So, you know, we're talking actual real life proper mounts and stuff now, boys. Classic is clearly going to be huge. It's my game of choice when we stream at the moment, and obviously this is excellent news for Blizzard. It's quite likely that because of all these Blizzard shills, WoW's sub numbers will be at their highest single number ever in that first month, and they will make all of the money in the world. And shit, man, if there's one thing that Blizzard love, it's making money. So look, everyone wins. And you all know my opinion on it. I think Classic is great for World of Warcraft. It's consumer friendly because you're now getting 2 games for your sub money instead of 1. It's a great game in its own right beyond the initial nostalgia, and I thoroughly enjoy my incredibly privileged position of being able to swap between these 2 versions of my favorite ever video game whenever I feel like it. But at the same time, there's a worry that I have. Well, actually, there's a couple, and the main one concerns this content drought that I'm saying we're now in officially in the midst of BfA. It's not a massive deal, these things happen. I mean, it didn't really happen in Legion, but yeah, okay. And it's even fairly likely that we will have heard some official word on the date of 8.2 by the time you even watch this video. I've learned that's how it often goes. But something we've never had before is another WoW to steal that hype, to undermine that excitement, to draw that attention. I'm not a dev, so I don't know, but I guess it must be slightly disheartening to see a patch that you've poured your heart and soul into, a patch which is supposed to fix so many of the problems that people have with BfA, and which I think will go a long way to fixing at least some of them, be overshadowed by a game that most people can't even actually play yet. It's a favourite joke to say from a particular secular part of the Classic community that Classic will kill the live, current WoW game when it launches, but honestly, has it killed it already? What impact is Classic and the Classic Beta having on the live game right now? Well, for one, there's scheduling. I know they said this wouldn't be the case, but I can't help my Activision sense tingling a little when I think about why we haven't got 8.2 yet. I know they said this wouldn't be the case, but I can't help suspecting in my tiny little brain that maybe they're being this chill about the release of a major new patch in the live game because they know that we, the players, are kind of sated with WoW Classic at the moment. Or maybe it's the other way around. My tiny little brain says maybe they've held off 8.2 on purpose because they are waiting for that initial Classic cacophony to subside so people don't completely ignore Rise of Azshara. Either way, it's bad because either way, I don't have 8.2 to play right now. And I know that they said they wouldn't plan Classic and live releases around each other, but you know what? My tiny little brain can't help but suspect that Classic's release date in August is definitely to fix it into a pre-existing schedule. Because this beta is pretty much done as far as testing is concerned. It feels like it's only stress testing the shit out of the layering systems, which clearly are occasionally not working as described, that need to be really pushed. And if that is the plan, that live and Classic releases work around each other, then there's always going to be that suspicion in my tiny little brain that Classic and live releases, if not replacing each other, filling in for each other. Like, we might get a major new BfA patch later than we would have done because Naxxramas is hitting Classic this month, and that'll keep everyone busy. That would suck for everyone, no matter which of the two games they prefer. But that's an impact that I wouldn't like to see. And then there's the pretty stark contrast at times between the gameplay of the two titles, which at the moment is kind of having a negative impact on BfA too. Because what's startling about Classic, in my opinion, is how everyone playing it right now agrees precisely on what is good about it. The fact that it's a game based much more heavily on the journey compared to BfA's endgame focus. The fact that the enemies you face in old Azeroth bring with them a sense of danger, which is kind of lacking in the current game, and that sense of danger provides a compelling gameplay loop that transcends the one-note, often literally hands-off playstyle of the classes. So excited though I am about 8.2, especially the Essence system, which I love just because of how you get them more than the Essences themselves, as excited as I am about having 2 new zones to explore, there's now a part of me, having spent so much time with Classic recently, that can't help but think, wouldn't it be cool if there was that sense of journey and danger in Nazjatar when we got there? Because there won't be, will there? As dangerous as Nazjatar is supposed to be, as much as the story literally revolves around our characters establishing a foothold and just plain surviving, the fact is, I already know that I'll never really feel the same kind of danger pulling a couple of mobs in this hostile new world as I do when I accidentally attract the attention of 2 kobolds a level higher than me in Elwyn Forest. And that's kind of a shame, really, isn't it? Joyous reactions to that feeling on Classic prove that players enjoy it, and frankly, that they're willing to forgive a whole multitude of other sins for it too. So maybe this is a good impact that Classic could have. Probably too late for 8.2, but wouldn't it be awesome to see more of a focus on the journey in future live WoW content? And not to make it the main focus of the game, because that's really impossible at this stage, but those parts of the game that are about a journey, why not make them more so? Everyone always loves that couple of weeks questing at the beginning of a new expansion. Just by giving those mobs that you tackle more chance of killing you than they do now, you could make that process last longer and feel more involved. Make the areas that those quests happen in feel more memorable, simply by making us plan our pulls smarter or team up to get through them. When we visit a whole new area in a 0.2 patch, which is supposed to be super dangerous to our max level heroes, make it so. Make us actually have to think about surviving in it for longer than the 20-minute opening scenario. Make the process of gearing up to a point where we can smash everything take longer simply by making it possible for those dangerous foes to kill us. And that danger is so important. The scaling that Blizzard introduced into WoW and Legion is great, but only really boosts enemies' health pools rather than the damage that they do. Buff that shit. Give those fish people a chance to hit us as hard as we hit them. Give us a few weeks in Nazjatar that really is all about the journey before those grinding systems kick in. At least the first time. Give us ways to get outs through it easier, whatever. You do anyway. And if that's an impact that Classic does have on BfA, then it'll be brilliant. Except, I think we all know it never could. And this is the real problem as I see it. I don't think the community would ever let it happen. Because already, in your head, as I've been saying all of this, you know what would happen if Nazjatar mobs dealt comparable damage to a classic Elwyn Cobalt at level. You can imagine what certain creators would say in countless videos they make about it, that this was just another example of Blizzard artificially increasing your playtime metrics. That making these mobs harder to fight was just a cynical ploy to artificially spread their content even thinner, while at the same time correctly praising Classic for having the exact same feel. And there's the real problem. Classic can't be changed. That's the whole point. So we are willing to accept what we like about it while completely forgiving everything wrong with it, because otherwise it wouldn't be Classic. It's set in stone by definition. Because live WoW can and should be constantly improved, we are always going to focus more on those things that we don't like, those things that we want changed. If Classic class balance existed in BfA, people would shit. If Warlocks needed 3 of them to summon a demon, and one of them had to die doing it, and eventually in the middle of a raid, the control over that demon would run out and it would become another hostile mob, that's absolutely incredibly cool. I mean, that's brilliant, that's awesome, that's just the kind of thing I want in the live game. If it were though, a lot of the same people that praise it in Classic would shit. I honestly think if mobs were more dangerous and places took longer to get to, things that we all praise Classic for, the same players would not just criticize BfA for having those, but would use them as an example of scummy corporate practices. So my worry is that actually it could go the other way. That actually live WoW will now get further removed from that kind of involved, slower, more dangerous and quirky gameplay. Because hey, if people want that, they've got Classic, right? Why invite all of that shit and criticism into the live game? That, I think, would be the worst impact of all. I hope it's not the case. I like to think it won't be the case, but my tiny little brain can't shake that suspicion and worry that that's how it might turn out. I told you I was going to get a little bit philosophical on this one, and I'm sorry, and this is why I shouldn't be allowed to go more than a week without releasing an episode of this show, because it gives me too much time to think, which is clearly a terrible idea. I still believe that Classic is obviously a great thing for World of Warcraft, and I'm still really looking forward to Rise of Azshara, and all this is me just getting edgy, probably, because the glorious coming of my Tentacle Overlord is taking a bit longer than I'd like, and I'm sorry. Luckily, the Mythic Dungeon Invitational has been on this weekend, which was excellent because I got to watch my favourite team, Abracadabra. My favourite specifically because I love the mismatched bare minimum black t-shirt uniform they wear. Whenever Abracadabra play, it makes me feel like I'm watching an amateur dramatic society production of The Good Woman of Setsuan or something, and that cheers me up.
As Taliesin said, 8.2 is taking shape on the PTR, which is mostly at the stage of numbers tuning now rather than big new things being added, so it's got to be soon, right? Blizzard are even putting out blue posts telling us all about the new mounts and toys that will come with a patch and how to collect them. And they wouldn't do that if the release wasn't just around the corner, right? It would be like telling a kid that you're going to buy them a puppy in December and then not giving them a puppy until like February or something. Yes, I'm directly comparing me not being able to play 8.2 to basically emotionally abusing a small child, but that's how it feels right now, okay? It's like, yeah, I want to start working on my stupid Skaven Doom Wheel or whatever the mount is called. Yeah, I want to quest my way to the Mechano Spider and the cool Snapdragon thing. Count me in. Yeah, I want to farm the shit out of Fabius, hoping that he will drop Fabius and we can all be Fabius together. Yeah, I want to grind prismatic mana pearls for the unshackled Wave Ray. How many do I need for that? 250? Okay, yeah, I want to painfully grind 250 look, maybe they'll be easier to get than I think. Yeah, I want the hyper compressed ocean that, I don't know, I think I can fish from it, right? Like, can I actually fish from it? I don't know. But whatever, it looks good. Yeah, I'll totally have that. Yeah, I want the Alliance and Horde PvP war banners that deactivate when you enter combat, because I wouldn't want to wear a PvP banner showing my faction pride while I'm fighting an enemy on the other faction, would I? What would be the point in that? Yeah, I want to drop 90k on a Griffin and Terrorwing reputation mount. Oh wait, what? 90k? As in 90,000 gold. Huh, yeah, that's gonna add up, isn't it? I mean, you're talking just shy of 1 million gold for the set, but I guess they'll probably look great, right? Oh shit, they do! Check out that really cool spectral Terrorwing, that is legit. Okay, fine, that is totally worth 90k of anyone's money. I can't wait to see the rest. Oh! Right. Okay, yeah. Well, okay, I can see why people might not be super excited about those, but hey, there's plenty of other cool mounts to go for instead, so it's not like we need to dwell too long on the
LOL puke grade effort. They don't even pretend to care anymore, do they? 90k is stupid as hell! I love mounts! Oh, sorry, don't know how that one got in there. Sorry, one sec. I'm not in any way going to waste time grinding gold when I could be with my kids.
Well, first off, let me just say, random internet man, that I'm truly sorry that you are yet to find something in a video game that you value more than spending time with your kids. Here's hoping it happens soon and you'll never have to see them again. But yeah, these mounts aren't top of the list when it comes to effort, originality, or coolness, but the good news is that's a pretty long list, and the ones at the top are really original and cool. Plus, I'm not sure 90k really counts as a gold sink. A gold sink is the Rust Bolt Resistor, also a rep mount for the Rust Bolt Resistance, but at 500,000 gold. Well, 524,288 gold to be precise, which is clearly a reference to the number of bytes in 512 kilobytes, which is a little RAM joke right there. What, you thought I wouldn't notice that? But a small price to pay to live out all your Dr. Robotnik fantasies in WoW. We'll be doing a proper look at all the new transmog sets coming in 8.2 in a different video, but I simply would not be doing my job if I didn't point out the ray gun and the chain sword that you can get from Mechagon. So now, I have pointed out the ray gun and the chainsword, as is right and correct. We got news on the new Mythic Plus affix that will be replacing Reaping in Season 3, Beguiling. 3 emissaries of Azshara can appear in random mob packs throughout the dungeon, which will empower those packs with certain abilities. So the enchanted emissary casts a damage reflect bubble around her allies, meaning you'll want to knock her back out of range of the mobs before you go crazy on them. The void-touched emissary has stealth and invisibility detection, meaning you won't be able to sneak past and skip whichever mobs she's looking after, and does nasty damage to anyone in her line of sight. And Emissary of the Tides makes her mobs unstoppable, which means they can't be crowd controlled. So yeah, you're essentially just going to want to focus down the emissary whenever you come across one, but they do have some interesting implications to how they'll change dungeon tactics and routes, especially since the emissaries will change position every week. And no, obviously it's not as fun as reaping, because nothing is as fun as reaping, but hey, it's not infested either, so it gets a thumbs up from me. Also on the PTR, currently the Azerite rewards from completing emissaries and your island expeditions weekly have increased pretty substantially, which should get everyone's Heart of Azeroth to 50 nice and quickly once 8.2 arrives. What, you haven't gotten to 50 yet? Oh, that's okay. What are you on, like 49 or something? 45. Oh. No, it's fine. I don't need to know, but it'll be much easier for you from now on, okay? And that's because, of course, once Rise of Azshara rolls along, you're going to want to be bumping that neck up even more to, well, eventually 65 to unlock all 3 essence power slots. Okay, fine, sorry, 67, because you'll totally need that 3% stamina. Sorry. And it wasn't just Azerite rewards getting a hike on the PTR. Titan Residuum prices have been getting the old inflation treatment too. The targeted Azerite pieces that you buy from a handy vendor, and the item level of which will go all the way up to 445 in Season 3, has increased from 7,150 to 200,000 residuum per piece for those very top items. Now the reason for this is obvious, and established. It's to stop players stockpiling huge amounts of residuum in Season 2 to buy all the best gear on the very first day that Season 3 releases. I think everyone will agree, that's a good thing. We don't want people doing that. One place they definitely did all agree on was on the forums, where this news was met with no surprise and even less consternation because this was completely expected. A similar price hike happened as Season 1 transitioned to Season 2, and this is the system working completely as no, it was a shit show, obviously.
That's disgusting. So 30 plus weeks of level 10 Mythic Plus runs to buy one targeted Mythic. This game is a joke. Not resubbing for this crap. Oh come on, seriously, no one is ever going to afford this unless the no-life elite. What the fuck?
Of course, it's not going to take you 30 30 plus weeks of level 10 keys to afford the targeted mythic piece because prices have gone up, but so will the amount of residuum you are rewarded. The length of time it takes to save up your currency will be pretty much the same as it was in Season 2, and all will be well. No, the only sad thing about all of this is the thought that you'll often be saving up all that residuum specifically to buy the exact same piece of gear you're wearing right now, but at eye level 445. But try not to think about that too much, okay? For a more specific look at all those prices, and transmogs, and mounts, and toys, and everything else, we're linking all of the relevant Wowhead articles below.
Okay, so here's the thing. I've been playing lots of Classic.
Okay.
As one would expect. But I've also been playing a lot of 8.2 PTR, so you don't have to. So, because, no one wants to play the PTR anyway. A, because Classic's out, and B, because no one wants to ruin all of the fun times, all of the excitement of the PTR. And for the first time, really, pretty much everything of that starting experience of 8.2 is in position now. So you go in and you do like the opening quests of Nazjatar, and then you get sent to sort of get your essences started with all of that, and then you get sent back to Nazjatar to do some more stuff, and then you get sent to Mechagon. And the thing is, when 8.2 does open up, there is going to be a lot to do in that first week, at least. There's a lot of stuff there, a lot of stuff to be getting on with, and that's before like the proper grind even starts as well. So today, for example, one of the things I'm really looking forward to, the Battle for Nazjatar.
Ooh.
The Battle for Nazjatar is a PvP thing. Okay, it's like world PvP. So when you go to Outland, and it's always empty because we didn't play in Burning Crusade, and we've only ever known it to be like a dead leveling zone.
Yes.
Okay, so like you've got places where you can go and just stand by the flags, and it makes the little thing go along, and eventually it turns into like an alliance or a horde flag or whatever. There are 5 of those around Nazjatar, and like in various like positions. And once the Battle for Nazjatar starts, this horn goes, and then like you got half an hour to get as many points as possible, or 10,000 points, which you earn by killing the other faction, by killing like soldiers of the other faction, and by capturing these points and holding on to them.
All right,
and there are 5
into
of them.
it.
Yeah, I'm really into it as well. I'm really looking forward to how it works with like more than 2 people on Nazjatar.
Yeah.
Because when I did it earlier, and I did it, I sat there for the whole half an hour. I did it for you, not for me. I didn't want to do it. I'd rather have been watching Chernobyl or having a shower or getting seriously like any sleep, but I did it. I did it for you guys. And I stood there, and there's like one of me, and there was clearly like another alliance. I was Horde, and there's an alliance guy going around changing the flag, because obviously you get like a notification. So like one flag went to alliance, and like over the other side of the map I got a flag for Horde. And then, like, I went and captured the Alliance flag.
Yeah.
And like, my Horde one went blue. And we just kind of swapped without ever meeting each other for half an hour.
Did he come back and take your flags?
No, I won.
Oh.
I won the Battle of Nazjatar.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that, eh?
Ooh.
First try. Won. Victory. Took me half an hour. I think I managed to get like 4,000 out of 10,000 points just doing it completely by myself. So, and it's I'm not sure how regular it is when 8.2 goes live, but obviously, like, you're gonna get people in war mode sort of going around and like trying to capture it, and depending on what the rewards are, how long they'll keep going, it's gonna be fun. It's just another thing, and it's cool, like encouraging kind of open world PvP and stuff. And I was always sad when I went around Outlands that changing those flags and stuff didn't really do anything. I was like, wow, I bet this is great fun in Burning Crusade.
Was it?
Well, no, you couldn't fly away.
Oh.
Couldn't fly away, I bet it was horrible. Mechagon, which is tiny, that's going to be a complete shit show when it comes to PvP as well. That's going to be really good fun. And you've got all the grinding stuff in there as well. And the storyline is quite fun. It just doesn't last long enough. Like I say in my section, like I kind of just want it to be like, I don't care if it's the exact same amount of quests and stuff, and if they just take longer because the enemies take longer to kill or whatever.
Right.
I just, I'd like it to be a bit more involved. I'd be down with that, but people wouldn't be up for it, would they? So you guys have been absolutely amazing. We revealed to you a couple of weeks ago these pins, these Taliesin and Evitel pin badges that my own cousin is making with her Etsy store. And you've been amazing. You've bought literally hundreds of these, which is absolutely fantastic. And as you well know, we are donating all of our half of the profits from these to Special Effects, the charity that helps disabled gamers. So there'll be a good few £100 to give to them at the end of all of this. They are still available. This is like that Blizzard video where they were trying to sell those orc and human statues because clearly no one's bought them. Well, you can be Randy and you can say, "Oh no, I see that the T&E pin sale ends on June 9th."
Oh no, I can see the T&E pin sale ends on June 9th.
Oh, well, I've got some good news for you there, Randy, Evitel, because I've pulled some strings and actually... There's no end date. We're just going to try and sell them all.
Oh.
So go for it. Get it done. And thank you for joining us today. If you like this video, don't thank us. Thank our patrons who give their actual real life money to make these videos happen. Guys, thank you. Without you, well, there'd be no videos, frankly.
No.
There's barely any as it is, to be honest, so it's good to have you, thank you. If you didn't like it, downvote the shit out of it. Remember, my name is Queen Azshara. No, my name is Taliesin from me.
And me, Evitel.
Until next time, cheerio.